The scene in Washington today and New York City right now. Angry union workers saying that they have had enough. That's okay. Here's what isn't. They're using MLK. 43 years to the day after he was gunned down. A union push that to many is over the top. Welcome, everybody. I'm Neil Cavuto. And was Martin Luther King thinking of this when he said this?
One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today.
Unions seizing on that dream, wasting little time to co-opt a king for a cause, but his civil rights for all. Really the same as saying time and a half for some? To a reverend here to say, good God Almighty, no. A reverend who says he knew the things that mattered to Dr. King, marched in civil rights rallies just like Dr. King. A reverend who liked Dr. King, admired Dr. King. These union guys, well, the Reverend Lee Peterson says, no Martin Luther King, not even close. Reverend, good to have you. What do you make of this?
It's good to be with you. You know, if it's possible to turn over in your grave, I believe that Dr. King is turning over in his grave today. I was born on a plantation down in Alabama. I participated in the civil rights movement. I did sit-ins. And Dr. King was about uniting the races. He wasn't about dividing them. Dr. King believed that the same law that protected white Americans should protect black Americans. He wanted us to have the freedom to move about in this country. He was about morality and justice. And for Jesse Jackson and others to take his movement, to taste his purpose and use it for personal gain, I have to say, Neil, it's nothing less than evil. Dr. King would not agree with this, but I'm not surprised at what Jesse Jackson and others are doing. I write in my book, Scam, How the Black Leadership Exploits Black America. When Dr. King was assassinated, Jesse Jackson took what looked like red blood and put it on his shirt and went around lying and said that Dr. King died in his arms. And when he was pressed for the truth by the media, he had to finally admit that he had lied about that. Dr. King threw Jesse Jackson out of his organization several times because Jackson has always had a personal agenda, and that is to gain power and wealth for himself, and that's what's happening right now.
But, Reverend, to union workers who say that Martin Luther King would appreciate their fight when, in fact, you know, he went to Memphis, Tennessee to show support, they say, to municipal sanitation workers who were on strike at the time. Now,
right. They
say that he was sympathetic to the working man and that ipso facto he would be sympathetic to the working man public workers cause today. Do you buy that?
No. Dr. King was sympathetic to the black workers there because they were discriminated based on color alone, because they were black. Dr. King did not go there to give them support so that they could give power and control to the unions. Today, the unions are using the workers in order to gain money and power, to vote in Democrats that they believe agree with their agenda. And Dr. King was never about that. He would not be in agreement with that.
Well, then
I just think it's awful that they're doing that.
I'm sorry, sir. When you do see, as we saw last summer with the great healthcare divide and the push to get that passed into law, and you had the likes of Nancy Pelosi marching arm in arm with a number of congressional leaders, clearly trying to equate this struggle for health care for all, equal rights for all, and to espouse Martin Luther King's cause. That was very clearly the intention with that. What is this? What's going on here?
You know, Neil, some 50 years ago, the government came in under Lyndon B. Johnson, along with these so-called civil rights leaders, and they said to black Americans, you've been discriminated against, the government is going to help you, but you can't have a father in the home. So they destroyed the family by taking the fathers away. And now many, if not most black Americans are relying on the government. I now realize that the reason that they did that, because if they could cause black Americans to rely on the government, rely on the Democratic Party, then it would give power to the Democrats, to the liberals. And that's what you saw with this socialized health care bill. It was about using black Americans in order to gain power and wealth. The unfortunate thing is that my grandparents and my great-grandparents, they suffered because they were black. They fought for freedom. So did Dr. King. They just wanted to have the right to work hard, to live in a country as free men and women. They never intended for the family to be destroyed, and these so-called civil rights leaders, along with the liberal Democratic Party, to use black Americans such as they are doing now. Whenever they want to destroy America, the values of this great country, they use the civil rights movement in order to do that. We have seen them do it with this idea that America is a racist society. We have seen them do it by saying that black folks are not capable of working for themselves, so they need programs. It's just a misuse of the people who needed the government to protect them. It's a sad occasion, and for them to do this on the day that Dr. King was assassinated, it shows that they have no love for black Americans, nor do they have love for our great country.
All right, Reverend, thank you very much. By the way, we did ask for Richard Trump to come on the AFL-CIO union to talk about this. It was declined. Meanwhile, cut it.